There we go. I'll go tell the world. Streaming, game dev, doing mech animations. Paste. Edit. Post. Alright. Was something a little bit awkward about the heating in my house today, so we're gonna have to live with that. But let's go ahead and do some more Unreal related stuff today. Let me just make sure that my volume is vaguely reasonable. Seems like it's a little quiet. I'm not sure why that is. Oh well. Anyway, we're working on this mech game, and I think it's important that we try and get the mech feel right. So what we're going to do is we are going to create some more animations so that it's a little bit more intuitive. We're also going to tweak some of these animations so they're not quite as awkward. And lastly, I think we're going to make a fallover animation and see whether we can get that to work. It might not. We'll have to find out. So here's the file. And let's just do some basics here. We're going to need some walk left and walk right, and run left and run right. So we're going to just add those in. We may also want unsteady versions of them, but either way, what we've got to do is just copy the walk cycle exactly so that they phase together without being out of sync. So we're going to call this walk left. And the idea here is that the mech will be walking left. I know that that's a very confusing thing for you to hear. Walk left, thank you. Force that. Select this. And we'll just rotate Z90. Actually, it's rotate Z45. And we'll create a kind of leftward walk. The downside of this is that we won't be able to just copy cloned because it's not a symmetrical walk. That should be fine though. So here I believe that the right leg is coming forward and the left leg is planted. And what we're going to want to do is sort of keep it like this because we're facing the camera. We're walking left, but we are looking right. And this is the pass point. So this is kind of close to right, but it's not balanced. So we're just going to tip a little bit here. See if we can get that balanced. Might need to change this later, but for now we'll just go ahead and cement that. Now put that over here, paste it in. No, that didn't work. And we're just going to delete all of these middle frames because, unfortunately for us, they're completely useless. And we have this central frame, which is supposed to be the pass point on the other side. If we were to paste flipped, you can see that we end up rotated the wrong way. We could rotate 90 degrees. That would get us rotated in the correct direction with our hips, but our bodies are all screwed up. That's fine. We'll fix it. So once again, we're not pointed correctly in terms of planting our legs properly. We'll just tweak it until we are. And we're going to want to point our legs more aggressively in this direction. That's probably too much. Problem is these ball socket joints on the hip aren't actually ball sockets. We just go ahead and make them ball sockets. There's no reason to leave them busted like this. So what we'll do is we'll just extrude in and shrink towards each other and then cap them off. And then we'll just unwrap. Now I believe that those will just automatically bind to the correct bone. It looks like they do. That'll give us some freedom when we are arranging this mesh so that we can expose some of that hip joint by moving the leg out like this. And it'll be fine because there's a hip joint so that there's no obvious mesh holes. Did I tip this the wrong way? Yeah, there we are. And then we'll just cement that. And then so here you can see we've got our running in place version. And I would really like to come out of transparency mode here, which is apparently a per object thing rather than a per scene thing. Alright, so now what we're going to do is the final pose. Well, we should tweak this first because it's not quite right. It's not pushing us in the direction we want to be pushed. So we're going to just move the legs. Oh, and it looks like our core is not at our core, so we're going to want to move that back. We'll have to tweak that too. It's fine. So the issue here is that it's on the wrong axis. We actually want it to be over here. Let me just check and see whether we just ruined it. Nope. Okay, so copy, paste. Was this really at 19? That's strange. Why do we have a walk left and a walk left 01? God damn it. I must have hit this button when I meant to hit this button. Once again, we'll just move this. This one, however, is not quite even. We're going to go ahead and not push it quite as far. Alright, so now let's create those in-betweens, which are actually the parts that would normally not be the in-betweens. These are the full extension parts here. So in the first, we've got the right leg coming forward. So in this, we need to have the right leg contacting. So we'll just go ahead and pull that out. We're going to need to twist the hips more, so we'll just rotate that another couple of degrees, move that back, down. Yeah, it's actually not too bad. Boom. Doop. Nope. Stop that. Doop. We need another in between, this one with the right leg coming forward, so we'll just write that in. Do 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 do. Boom, and then we just see we've got some basic walking going on here. Let's see, there's something wrong with this. Stop selecting multiple. The newest Blender 2.8 has one particularly awful bug, and that is that it constantly selects multiple things rather than just selecting one thing. You're selecting multiple bones, you're selecting multiple frames, you're selecting multiple of everything. It's like, for a piece of software that doesn't allow multi-edit, you sure like selecting multiple things as a default action. It's like, come on. So you can see that this here is a little bit slothful. So we're going to punch that up. This pass frame, we're going to just make it substantially more aggressive. And then we'll just have, so slide back, slide back. Yeah, that seems like a good one. Don't know if that's going to work or not, but now we just hit plus and we call it walk right. No, that's not walk right, that's walk right. Aha! All right, now we're just going to go through and copy this all. So it's Control C and Control Shift V. Yeah, that seems right. There. Now we should just have the exact same thing, but off to the other side. Hooray! So now we've got walking left and walking right. We're going to go ahead and integrate those into our game engine before we try anything. So we're not going to make the runs just yet. We're going to try the walks first. And we'll just bow. Alright, so now they should be in Unreal. Just pop on over there. Why were there 3 anim? Oh, it probably imported. Damn it, broken walk, whatever. It's fine. So we should have the walk lefts now and the walk rights. And what we're going to do is, here they are, see? Walk right and walk right, damn it. Where's that walk left, damn it? Yeah. We're not going to worry about that, but we aren't going to use it, obviously. So we're going to come down here into animations, and we're going to create a walking animation that is... we could use an offset 2D or an offset... So we do not currently have... we don't currently have the unsteady walk left and the unsteady walk right. We're definitely going to want them, though. So we're going to create a two-dimensional blend space. And we will add in the balance. So we'll call this mech A walk in full. So we're going to just set this up with a horizontal and vertical axis. The horizontal axis is going to be left-right directionality. So we're going to call that sideways. Give that a -1 to 1. Down here, the vertical axis is going to be balance, which are going to do 0 to 100. And so we'll have the walking animations here. The walk animation right smack dab at the bottom, top rather, in the middle. And we should have a walk unsteady here. There it is. Just drop that at the bottom in the middle. And then we'll have a walk left anim, which we'll put over here. And a walk right anim, which we'll put over here. And if we just take a look, you can see how it sort of works fine. Not sure about that animation there. That walk left animation seems kind of garbage. We'll have to find out. Or the walk right animation. Maybe I didn't copy something. I'm not sure yet. The issue with this is that these animation points are not in the right spot, so we're going to put them up at the top. We'll add in the low balance variance later. So this is what it'll look like when we are balanced properly. See? Should be fine. We'll save that for now. We'll add in the damaged balance elements later, animations for that later. So now what we're going to do is we're going to open up the mech ABP here. And when we look into the state engine, you got this idle to run balanced. And if we open this up, you can see that what we've got here is speed on the horizontal axis from 0 up to 1. This is idle. This is walking. And this is full. Now the problem here is that we are currently using balance as a factor here. We don't actually want to do that. We're going to bake the balance in on the individual animations instead of this portion. So that means that we have to, just for now, we're just going to always pass it 100. We'll have to figure out exactly what we want later. But this point here is the one that needs to be replaced. So we'll just delete it and then drop in the walk-in full. Here we are. Invalid asset type? Wait, can I not stack blend trees? Or blend? That can't be right. Let's just do a quick little lookup. I didn't expect this issue. So, if we do animation, what is it called? Blend assets, blend spaces. Blend spaces. Unreal blend space nesting. They recommend using a pose blend node. That's interesting. Why can't this be stacked? Okay, interesting choice on their part to make something that is obviously the same category of object not nest properly. That's really bizarre. So that means that we're not going to be able to use this this mech ABP at all. Rather, this idle to run ABP at all. What we're going to need to do is create a blend pose of some kind. Don't know how to do this. They just said to do it, so it's going to be something new for us. Blend two poses together. Okay. So what we'll do is we will have, is there a blend three poses together? There we are. So, what the fuck? It still only takes two poses, and I can't, it doesn't appear to be an add node. Add blend pin. There we are. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the idle to run. I'm just going to delete that. And we're just going to do a couple of basics here. So the run speed goes in. Oh, do I have to calculate out the valid alphas on the run speeds? Maybe it would be better to do it just double blend. Because that will allow me to just pass in an alpha, in which case I can just divide this by 1200. And that's going to be idle. Let's see if we can find the idle. Of course, I'll be replacing this with a blend shape that understands balance problems. And then we're going to go ahead and drop in the walking full. And we'll just put the balance in there. See? Easy as pie. And then, of course, we just copy this. And then if we want to blend between A and B again, we're going to have to subtract two floats. Sorry, this one here. Let's go ahead and create a walking speed integer variable. Which will make a float. And we'll make it visible. Yeah, it should be fine. And we'll want the default value to be 1200 here. There we are. Get this and use that as the lower half on both of these. Now, the question is, do I have to clamp this blend shape? I guess we'll know pretty soon. Then we got to divide again. I'm sure there is a node that does this, but I don't happen to know its name. Basically, it's a remap node. But I think for the remap node, I've got to like plug in all these values anyway. Let's try it. Remap. Nope. There's no remap node. At least not named that. We're going to want the run animation here. There we are. And again, we will make a run that's got balance in a minute. Just want to make sure this works. Did I pick the wrong run animation? No, that's the walk. Okay. So the walking animation currently doesn't actually move from side to side because I set that to be 0 all the time. And the balance seems to be... It seems to be 0 all the time? That's not right. Is that the normal walk? Well... Yeah, it is. Okay. We're going to have to tweak the walk so they're a little bit less silly looking. That's fine. So let's go ahead and create the blend trees we need for the others. It is going to be just a 1D blend space for the idle, so we'll call this... No! We'll call this mech a idle in full. Pop that up. Here we see it. And this is just going to have a balance axis. Why is this a two-dimensional? God damn it. Okay, so I need to pay more attention. Okay, so basically this is just going to have a balance here. And at 0 balance, we're going to idle awkwardly. And at 1 balance, we're going to idle not so awkwardly. 100 balance, rather. Very basic setup. Yeah, I don't see any other options that we need to worry about here. So we'll save that. And then we'll also create one more for the running, but we don't have the run animations we need for that yet, so let's leave that for now. For now, we'll come back over into the ABP, and we will replace that idle in full. Now let's go ahead and make this sideways happen. So in order to get that sideways to exist, we're going to need to be able to set it. It needs to be a variable, which we'll call sideways. And it's going to be a float. And then we'll just get sideways. Put it in here. We're also going to have to put it into the run animation when we're ready. And we're going to go ahead and give that a -1 to 1 for all of these values here. Should be fine. Let's just check out what the advanced options are. Interesting. I mean, that's technically true, but it shouldn't matter. We'll go ahead and leave those empty for now and not worry about them. But we do have to set this up. So when do we set it? Here you can see us attempting to get all of these values. The problem with sideways is that we have to actually get the intended direction that we're trying to accelerate from the player's controller. Now we do actually have that. Zenguin Music says, "Hey Craig, hello. I am doing some spaghetti code here in Unreal. We're just learning Unreal, so we're still a little bit iffy on the quality level. But right now what we have to do is get the value of our inputs. So if we look over into Unreal's the actual character that we've built, just pull that back on screen here, and we look into the event graph. You can see that over here in the default movement inputs, you can see that there is this add movement input. We can get the movement input as well. See, get last movement input vector. There it is. Only problem is we have to actually get this class. I have to get the mecha character movement class in order for it to work. So that I am always still a little unsure of. Let me go ahead and move everything around and lean way in so that I can focus a little bit, because I think that I have to get it by... Here's us casting the mech character. Is that going to be good enough? Yeah, okay, good. There it is. Awesome, never mind. I'll lean right back. I'm never sure which parts... So the mech character class is actually a collaboration. It's a bunch of classes that seem to be kind of just tossed into one giant stew pot. I'm not really sure what that is. Anyway, we need to get the left value here. So we're going to want to use this and get right. Get right vector mesh. That should be right. And then we're just going to do a dot product. We should probably what's it called? Normalize. And then that we will use to set our sideways. Save that. Compile that. Let's take a look. Right now what we're doing is we're trying to see whether or not the sideways... it's a little hard to get used to the fact that that's actually the same window that Unreal is in, and I can't pop Unreal into the foreground. So Well, that's... Okay, so it's not... Well, that might be the issue. So the other issue we've got here is that the character is clearly just turning. It's not... The sidewaysness isn't actually... The character isn't remaining focused on the camera. You can see how the character is literally just turning. I'm trying to decide whether that's a good idea or not, because what I really want is... the mech should be able to strafe. So that means I'll probably have to change the way that the character is built. So here's the mech character, and if we take a look at the mouse input, you can see how we got this yaw and pitch input. Those are input axis turn. So here's the movement input, and you can see how over here we get the right vector, and that becomes our movement input right. So this here apparently causes the entity to turn instead of causing him to walk sideways. Let's see if there is like an option for that over here. This is not exactly what I want, but it's close. Let's try it. That didn't work at all. Also, balance is defaulting to 0, and I'd like it to default to 100. So that didn't do anything, so I don't know why it's there. It looks like you got some spammers. Boom. And although they're blocked, I also have to report them. They're spam. They should really make this a lot simpler. Like, gee, what sort of evidence do you have that they're a spammer? Well, how about you fucking look at the log? Why can't I delete this? Did something change in the past 20 seconds where I'm not allowed to delete comments? Maybe I never could, and I just never noticed. But I sure would like to be able to get rid of spam comments. All right, well, that thoroughly distracted me. Thank you, useless spammer crapper. I'm not really gonna thank you for that. Now I have to get back into it. Spam is really a huge brain drain. Yeah, so I don't believe orient rotation. Here it is. Aha! There, you see? Now the only problem is that we're not orienting towards the camera. So we need to come up with a way to orient us towards the camera. I don't know how to do that. God, I'm going to reload this frame just so I don't have to look at his stupid fucking spam in my chat box anymore. So we've disabled the orient rotation to movement. Be used controller rotation yaw. So can we add a yaw? So here you can see we've got this controller yaw input. And there's our input axis turn rate. We're going to want to add this controller yaw input so that it constantly faces the camera. So I don't know how to get the camera direction. Get camera view, follow camera. Is that all I need? Wait, I can grab it. There we are. So we can get the right and the forward here. Trying to think about this. If the forwards are at 1 when we dot product them, then that's correct. But what we really want to do is turn towards. Is there a turn towards option? Let's just take a look here. All right, so I think what we need to do is we need to take the follow camera's right value and our main character's forward value. Or the follow camera's left value, I guess, or we can just invert it. So get right vector. And we're going to want our forward vector, so we'll just... Okay, so that's not a value that... This is apparently not a class that actually has an orientation to it. So we need to just get ourself, I guess. Can I just... All right. So then we can dot product these together. Now this won't work in certain cases. We'll have to figure that out later. But then we're going to want to multiply by -1. And assign that as a yaw input. Right? Let's try it. All right, so I think I might be misunderstanding when the character turns. I think that self might not be the right one. Do I want to do it with the question is, what exactly is the construction of this? Yeah, see how the camera is being forced, but the mesh isn't moving? I'm clearly moving the camera rather than the mesh. Which means this event graph is somehow mapped to the camera? There's something I'm I'm misunderstanding something important here. So here you can see how the camera constantly snaps back to behind them, rather than the opposite happening. Now, if I were to select the character here, and pause the game. God damn it. So, unfortunately, I can't see what the formation of the actors within the mesh character is. All right, well, let me think for a second here. Right now, what's being turned is the camera. So that must mean that this target is the wrong target, and it should, in fact, be the character movement. Right? No. I mean, here it is. Gamepad input, add controller yaw input, mouse input. So we were already doing it with the mouse input. This is useless. So this doesn't do what I thought it did. There's no reason to have it. Well, that part, however, is correct. We'll leave that for now. Just remove the part here. So the question is, how do we get the character to turn? I thought that adding a yaw... I thought that adding yaw would do it, but adding yaw only affects the camera, not the character itself. So if we wanted to affect the character itself, there's add controller yaw input. Let's look down there at pawn and just manually go through all the pieces. Character movement. Wait, is this part of the character movement setup where the yaw is bound to the camera boom? Let's take a look. Okay, yeah, that's what we wanted. It's just a checkbox. That's all. No reason for us to do any of that complicated stuff. Right, so we're going to delete that complicated stuff. We don't need it anymore. Just get it out of the blueprint. And let's go ahead and create more animations. So, yeah, I'm thinking about the best way to do it. And Twitch is emailing me, telling me that we received their report on the me reporting a spammer. Dude, it's just a spammer. Just let me say this is a spammer, and then they get the message. It's not that challenging. It's usually pretty obvious when someone says, buy gold for cash, or buy followers for cash, or whatever the hell they were selling. I don't know why Twitch makes it so challenging to moderate your own channels. Alright, so we are going to go over into a run. Boom. Duplicate this and use a run left and a run right. So let's get started. Once again, we're going to be doing the exact same setup we did before, but we are going to have to delete all of the stuff in between. It's just the way of things. As long as the two core frames are in the same spot, everything else can be forgiven. It looks like 3 core frames. It is not. It is just a start and end frame. Blah, 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 blah. So once again, we're going to go into pose mode here. We're going to rotate it a little bit more than we did when we were doing it the other way. Now when you're running left, are you bending in? I guess you probably are. I'm going to say you're bending out. And then we will. Do I have to bend forward? I guess I probably should. More or less. Really, I should rig this up properly. I'm just a little bit too lazy. Running in place. Woo! All right, so now that we're running in place, let's do the extended poses. So this is the leg that's coming forward, as I recall. So that's the leg that we're going to... Oh, no, wait. No, it is that leg. Okay, good. So we're just going to have it come forward. We're going to need to rotate a little bit more here. This is going to have to come down and also go back. This is going to have to go back. These arms are going to have to come out. It seems strangely high above the ground, doesn't it? Well, we'll try it. Alright, so with this one, we're going to want the other leg to come forward. And once again, we need more arm. As usual, we got a problem with a missing couple of frames here when we're running. It's a lot more important that these frames feel like they work. So basically, this is the push frame. We're going to want to make sure that the robot really feels like he's pushing. So to do that, we're just going to set this up with some push. We're going to go ahead and hide some robots in the background since they're in the way. I'm not even sure we should keep these guys. Probably just delete them. Back into it. Pose mode. So the leg that's pushing is the left leg here. That would be the one in the back there. Yeah, thanks. So we're just going to give it some serious push, and that's going to be like this. And then this is going to be still coming forward. And that's going to be a nice chunk. Push. And then over here we got to do the same thing. Once again, let's just push the torso and arms a little bit. Push. 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 Don't know. We can also add in a clunk here because you can see that what actually happens is their feet go through the ground. So when they push back and then they come forward, we can add in just a little bit of a crush here because the whole point is that these mechs weigh a lot. That's why the game is fun. Is that going to work? Probably. If not, we'll just come up with some other way to do it. Crunch, crunch. I don't know if that's going to work or not. We're going to go ahead and duplicate it and then make it run right. And then basically we're just going to copy all of these frames. And then paste all these frames. And then there we are. I don't have any sort of confidence that that's going to actually work, but we'll give it a shot. Once these have been blocked out properly and put into the controller properly, we'll be able to polish them to our heart's content. Oh. Here it is. Super Donut says, I'm really enjoying your Control series. Sorry, I had blocked off the chat, so I don't know when you said that. Yep, the next one's uploading today, once I'm done with this. Got maybe 15-20 minutes left in here. The Control game is very pretty, and after it's done, we'll also be doing a series on how to light things like Control in Unreal. Should be fun. So here we're going to be doing sideways, which is going to be between -1 and 1. And we're getting a balance here. Super Donut liked Control. Yeah, I really enjoyed playing it, but I can't say that I... the gameplay wasn't for me, and the writing was a little bit iffy for me too, but it was just so pretty. So the run animation, and then the unsteady run. And then we'll do run left and run right. Where are they? All right, we're going to go ahead and save this and go look for run left and run right. Presumably I didn't get them with the right skeleton. Make a armature skeleton. Seems right. I bet I just have to reopen that today. Super Donut liked the motel, which is famously one of the things I wasn't a big fan of. I just thought it was not as... I thought it was a really great idea. They didn't take as far as they should have. Yeah. Just had to reload the page. See that little hiccup? That's obviously wrong. Let's just go and fix it before we go any further there. So I noticed the hiccup. It's right here. Did I put this frame in the wrong spot? So this is the push frame, and I think I just have this pushing too hard, too fast. I just copy everything here, and then we'll go over to run left and paste it all flipped. Still a little bit hippity-hoppity. There's something wrong with it. It's janky. But let's give it a shot, see if it works. We can always polish the animations later. So we're going to go into our mech character here. And we're going to go into the, I guess it's the animation. Here it is. So here we've got the arm run. I'm going to go make that a run in full here. Boom. Now come on. There we are. And just drop that in. And balance sideways. I was hoping to get a little bit more done today, but I am on a time limit for once, so... I mean, it exists, but wow, that animation is terrible. We're going to have to work on that. I might want to just make the run animations faster in general. The forward run animation doesn't feel too slow, but I can't have the sideways run animations be a different length. I could play the sideways animations faster or something. But if they're a different length, then the blending between the setups won't work. Also, I want to make the stumbling animation, the unsteady animation, look a little bit less embarrassing. Same with the jumping animation. It's really pretty primitive. Well, might as well fix the jumping animation and then call it a day. So, this jumping animation is really awful, so let's fix it. That might be all I needed to do to fix it. It was really the legs that were giving me grief here. Oh, that wasn't. I was just trying to select it. There we are. Copy. Paste. And here we'll just paste it again. And then tweak some of these specifics to give it just a little bit of motion. There we are. Superdonut asks how I like Unreal as compared to Unity. So Unity has some really easy... That didn't re-import. Hold on. I forgot to save it. There we are. Unity has some really low-hanging fruit where you can get in and start developing really quickly. And Unreal just doesn't have that. But on the other hand, Unity falls apart once you try and do anything even slightly more complicated. And so far, Unreal doesn't have that. So I can't say that I would recommend Unreal for a game dev that's trying to learn how to game dev. But it's clearly a pretty good choice if you plan to actually make a game, like if you know what you're doing. As someone that only vaguely knows what he's doing, obviously I struggle with that. But it's definitely the case that Unreal has no easy access, whereas Unity is very, very easy to access. And so that's the only problem I've got with Unreal. Let's just slow this one way down. Grind. And we're just going to check this and then be done for the day. So thanks for stopping by, everybody. Very, very basic stuff here. We're still in the prototyping stage. But we're starting to put together the actual functionality we need. I was hoping that what I would get was the sliding left and right, because in this game there's going to be quite a bit of drifting as you go around corners and stuff, and I wanted to implement that. We'll have to do that next time on Wednesday. Thanks for your time, everybody. I will see you around. Super Donut says it looks a little wonky, but very nice. Yeah, the animations all need to be cleaned up. They're very, very primitive. I should actually rig the mech, since I do have to make some animations that's supposed to look nice. I just hate actual rigging. Maybe I should look into it. Maybe it's not as awful in Blender as it is in Maya. We will find out. Have a good one.